Welcome back to More Law on Fox 19, your legal questions live, with local broadcaster and award-winning reporter Deb Haas and Cincinnati personal injury attorney Don Moore, recognized by Ohio super lawyers. More answers, more help, more law on Fox 19.
And welcome back. There's a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. We've got Ellen on the line, and we're going to get to her in just a moment. Be sure and call us at 421-4691. I had a case that I handled several years ago, and as you may have seen on Fox 19 at 10 last Thursday, that is special on truck wrecks. And we've got some pictures here that you can take a look at. They talked about this a little bit. This is a case where probably driver fatigue resulted in a trucker pulling out, failing to yield to a automobile on State Route 32, pulled in front of him, caused the motorist to hit the truck. The truck had no lights on. It pulled out, failed to yield, no lights, and it's pitch black. And this client was injured very seriously, had some real problems with the trucker. In fact, Dan had reminded me part of the details on that. What was the part of the story that you recall?
Yeah, this was kind of interesting. We wanted to talk to the driver about what happened in this case. And usually you do that by what's called a deposition, where you sit down and with a court reporter and you ask this person questions and you figure out what was going on. Well, we asked for the driver's deposition. He had quit the company. He was totally uncooperative. He lived across the country, and the way that he quit the company was he just told the company, "Here's your truck." From a truck stop in Texas, he calls him on the phone, said, "Here's your truck, come pick it up, I quit." And he had no contact with him at all. So we never got an opportunity to ask that particular individual why he pulled out there or what the details of the crash were. So that was sort of an interesting tidbit with that case.
So, sometimes you run into that, and it's just something you have to deal with, and of course that's where an attorney has to do all the things necessary during the discovery process to try and secure the evidence. Let's go to Ellen and find out about what her problem is. Ellen from Cincinnati, tell us how we can help you.
Yes, I'm calling about a case. Say like if you get hurt on the job, and you be off work for about a year, and then you go back to work, and after you go back to work, you still have complications with that same injury. So you go back to the doctor and get, try to get prescriptions and stuff to keep you comfortable while you're working. And then when you go to get your prescription, the disability or whoever you under deny you for your prescription. So what do you do about that? But you have to take it and use your regular health care insurance to cover them prescriptions from that injury, from that same injury.
Well, Ellen, I know that, first of all, are we talking about a workers' compensation claim? It sounds like we are.
It is a workman comp claim, yes.
And did you have somebody, a lawyer, help you with that?
Well, the case is still open. I'm just saying when I go to get medication, or I wear a brace and my brace need to be upgraded, but they're not covering it. They're not going to cover it under the injury. It's got to go under my personal insurance, so I have to come out of my pocket and pay. So I just want to know how do you go about getting them to pay for about the same injury from the job?
That's something you're going to need to submit under the old claim file number, and that's something that if your employer refuses to do it, then you're going to have to get some legal help to take care of it.
Okay.
So basically, if you had a lawyer help you before, go back to the same lawyer and say, look, this is my problem, and I think they'll take care of it for you with no trouble. If you did not have a lawyer and they refuse to do what they're supposed to do, then your next step is to get someone to help you and represent you with that.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
All right. Okay, great. We've got Vicki from Mason. Barb. Okay, Barb. Let's hear it.
Yep.
What do you got?
Hi, I just have a concern and stuff. I was diagnosed last August with breast cancer, and I had surgery done in September. I had a lumpectomy, and with my surgery, the doctor left a radioactive seed in my breast, and that they started calling me back to come back for mammograms and nuclear medicine because they had lost the seed, and then they discovered that, yes, the you know, they had left it accidentally inside me, which is still there. I had to start my chemo and my radiation because it was an aggressive cancer. And I'm just concerned of what kind of damage. Nobody seemed to really know if that would cause me damage by leaving that seed inside the breast that was active for so long.
Well, Barb, first, I am so sorry that you have to deal with such a difficult disease. It's tragic, and hopefully in your case, it'll be something that you can prevail over and have a good result. That's something Dad knows quite a bit about as well. Dad, what would you suggest for Barb as far as her next step from a legal standpoint?
I think that she really should talk to an attorney. Are you in Kentucky or Ohio?
Barb, are you in Kentucky or Ohio?
Yes, I said Ohio.
In Ohio. I would suggest what you do is to talk to a lawyer about it, because you do have significant problems, perhaps. It could be the seed was left in intentionally and you have no damages as a result of it.
It was totally accidental. That's why they were in such a frantic search to find this seed, because they supposedly it's never happened in the U.S. before.
Okay, did it cause any, if it didn't cause any additional injury or damage, or there's no residue there from it, then of course you probably have no damages to talk about. But I would suggest that you talk to a local lawyer, let him review the hospital records and the medical things that are available at your physician that took care of you, and make a decision based on what the medical records review and what you have to say about it.
Yeah, I got documentation of the fact that they did, you know, accidentally leave it inside me because I had to go in and get a mammogram after surgery, but they said it was just...
Barb, let me just add, I'm sorry, Barb, let me just add one thing to that. You have a medical malpractice claim like we've been talking about. Thing you need to be careful of is that 1 year statute of limitations. Always have to pay attention to that. That can escape before you know it. So if you're going to pursue this, you need to do it right away. The thing that Grandpa touched on just a second ago, let me just highlight, is there has to be a damage as a direct result of this bead being left in you. So if there was a definite fault on the part of the physician for leaving the bead in you, that may be clear. But the next step is there has to be some harm as a result of that. So if there's no harm, you've got no case. If there is harm, then that's something you could potentially pursue. But thanks for your call.
That's what I don't know down the road and stuff. Is this going to, you know, cause an issue with over radiation or anything? So I'll just go talk to an attorney and see what they have to say.
Thanks for your call.
Very good. Very good, Barb. Great. Thank you. And good luck. Becky from Lebanon, how can we help you today?
Yes, I had an automobile accident in October. It was a one car accident, and I actually rolled my vehicle completely over. And I'm just wondering, I believe it was due to faulty tires, because even the police officer said that it was they were worn completely on the inside, and I would have no way of knowing that they were completely worn. Now, thankfully, I didn't, you know, get any injuries other than some cuts and bruising. But I'm wondering if there's anything that I can do about that, because I do have the evidence that, you know, that the tires were worn incorrectly. So either by alignment or the tires itself. Give me any ideas about that?
Sure. Listen, first of all, one car accident, that means there's no other individual who caused it directly, but there may have been as far as the vehicle equipment, the condition, or even a product defect. And that's something Dan's handled several of with respect to the tire business.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of issues dealing with tires. First of all, let me ask you a question about the business who put the tires on. When was the last time you were at somebody who put the tires on or rotated them or did any work on them at all?
Oh, gosh, it hasn't been that long. That's the thing. I'm going to say within 8 months prior to the accident.
Okay, so what you need to do is take a look at those tires, and you need to keep that evidence. That's something that is really important for these cases. You have to hold on to the evidence, and there's a lot of issues with tire cases that you have to pay attention to. What I'd like to do, I think we need to take a break for just a minute. Let me come back and address some of those questions right after this break.
Bar Association requires that we present the names and addresses of all the lawyers who appear on our show, and that's kind of easy today. I'm Don Moore. Don Moore Sr. is here with me today, and Dan Moore, all of whom use a professional address of the Moore Law Firm, 1060 Nimitzview Drive, Suite 200, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45230, area code 513-232-2000, and that's www.moorelaw.com. Here's what's on for our upcoming dockets. On May 7th is divorce and child custody. May 14th is kids in trouble. And May 21st is hurt on the job. And we've had a couple callers here today that I hope will call back then. So look, we just finished or talked to a caller a few minutes ago that had a tire issue that they were worried about, and it may have impacted and caused them to lose control of their car and have a wreck. Right. And you had a couple other things you wanted to pass along to the caller. Yeah,
that's right. Thanks. There are a number of things to look for in these cases. One, if it's a tire, tires have a life expectancy, so age is important. Two, the installation of the tire can be a big deal. If it's installed correctly, or if the vehicle's set up wrong, that can cause or contribute to a crash. Three, the vehicle itself can be prone to flipping over, so there may be an issue with the vehicle. So, and then on top of all this, like with so many of these cases, there's sometimes a real problem with the expenses involved. So you have to be careful pursuing cases that can't stand the amount of expense that you have to put in to make them successful.
So this has been great. I'm so glad you're able to be here with me today, Dad and Dan. And actually, not only have I had a chance to practice with my son, and I had a chance to practice with you, you also practiced with your dad, didn't you?
I did indeed.
And your brother as well?
My brother, that's correct.
And his daughter, Vicki?
And Vicki, that's correct.
It's been great. We've got a picture here we can show that we had the three of us taken the other day in preparation for our show. I think it's great you're here, Dad.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Glad to be here.
Thanks a lot.
Answering the phone at the old law firm was difficult. Mr. Moore, Mr. Moore, Mr. Moore.
All right, great.